Okay, so today we'll start a chapter. Today we'll go forward with the chapter motion, or start a chapter motion. Okay, now as a matter of fact, when I talk about motion, okay, yesterday we had learned a lot of things, and in the previous video of the part 1 of physics we had learned that physics is a study of physical quantities and lot of things. Now in this video basically I will give you the idea of motion. But to understand motion you have to first understand what is rest. When a body does not change its position with respect to time and its surroundings, when a body does not change its position with respect to time and its surroundings, then the body is said to be in rest. Okay, when a body does not change its position with respect to time and its surroundings. Suppose a body is there, okay, a ball. Now you are watching time, and when you are watching time, you see for a duration of lot of hours, maybe 1 second, maybe 2 seconds, maybe 3 seconds, maybe 5 seconds, maybe 8 seconds, maybe 3 hour, 4 hour, 2 day, 5 day, 3 year, 4 year, or 300 million years. Whatever the duration of time is, in that duration of time, it is not changing its position, it is at the same position. So that means it is not changing, it does not change its position with respect to time. When it does not change its position with respect to time, the body is said to be in rest. Not only not changing its position with respect to time, but also with the surroundings. Whatever is the surrounding. Suppose in its surrounding there was a tree. In its surroundings there were grasses. Okay, and it was not changing its position with respect to the surrounding. Then immediately we can understand what is motion. The motion is the state of a body when the object or the body continuously changes its position with respect to time and its surroundings. So, what did I say? The motion is the state of a body when the body continuously changes its position with respect to time and its surroundings. Suppose, for example, a ball or an object is here. Okay, and suppose there is a tree, there are grasses, and you observe the ball. When you observe the ball, you will see that the ball is not maintaining its surroundings. It is continuously from here to here. Then it is next instant of time. You are watching time. in the duration of 5 seconds. In the first second it was here, in the fraction of seconds it came here, then it came here, within fraction of seconds it came here, and it is continuously moving with respect to time for the entire 5 seconds and changing its surroundings. So that is known as motion. Are you getting my point? So examples of body which are at rest, suppose the mountains, okay, books on the table, okay, these are the objects which are in rest. There you can think about lots of examples. Example of body which are in motion, moving car, moving cricket ball, river. You can say the particles of water are in motion. Okay, like for example, if in a chamber there is a gas, all the particles continuously randomly move here and there. So in case of one particle we can say. Okay, so I hope that you have understood what is rest and what is motion. So before going into any more discussion, I will tell you that what we have learned that the concept of rest and the concept of motion in physics, right? That what is the concept of rest, okay, and what is the concept of motion. So these both the things that we have specifically understood. Now what happened is that after understanding the concept of rest and motion, what I can say is that you have learned that what is physics, what is the study of physics, and about various physical quantities, right? Now you have learned about fundamental and direct physical quantity, if you remember. So what you need to do is that I will teach you the system of units at first, because okay, it's fine that you have understood about rest and motion. Oh, one more thing I want to say about rest and motion is that rest and motion both are relative terms, and one cannot be explained without the help of the other. Rest and motion both are relative terms, and one cannot be explained without the help of other. एक को दूसरे के हेल्प के बिना आप एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर पाओगे. Are you getting my point? So rest and motion both are relative terms, and one cannot be explained without the help of the other. So that is one thing that you should know. Why I am saying this, that rest and motion are relative terms and you cannot explain one without the help of the other, there is reason for this. If I give you a simple reason, suppose for example, you are standing here in the bus stand and there is a bus. Okay. Now, when you are standing, you saw that in the bus there is one girl. Okay. Now the bus is moving forward. The bus is in motion. What do you will think? The girl is in motion or rest? Huh?
Motion.
Yes. You will think that the girl is in motion because the bus is moving, so the girl will also go away from your sight, no? According to you, the girl is changing her position with respect to time and surrounding. Yes or no? So the girl is in motion, but that you will think. Suppose inside the bus, the girl whom you saw is sitting with another girl, and what this girl will think, that the girl in question here, whom you have seen to be in motion, she is in rest or motion, according to this girl.
Rest.
So it depends on the position of the observer whether a particular body is in rest or motion. You are thinking the girl is in motion, she is thinking the girl is in rest. Means a particular person who is standing outside the moving vehicle will think that the passenger inside the vehicle is in motion. But the person who is a fellow passenger and sitting inside the vehicle will think that the particular person is in, question here is in rest. So it obviously depends on the observer, particular observer, that whether the particular object is in rest or motion. One interesting more thing I will tell you. Even if the girl sees you, she will also think that you are in rest. When you see outside from a moving bus, don't you see that the things are going all back? Don't you feel like that? Observe so carefully. Don't you feel that all the things are going back rather than you moving forward? Does it not feel like that? That all the things are going back, all the trees, field, whatever is there outside the vehicle, whenever you travel through a car, you don't feel like that. So according to you, whatever tree is outside the moving vehicle, it is in motion, but is it actually is in motion? I'll give you one funny example. Then you will be thinking that अरे ये तो अच्छा example है. Suppose I will tell you what is this. Tell me what according to you I am in what now? Huh?
Sir, teacher.
According to you I am in rest or motion? So according to you I am in rest, right? Suppose this is Earth, and here is India, and here somewhere is West Bengal and Siliguri, and somewhere there we both are sitting. Three of us are sitting. The earth is continuously rotating, isn't it? Suppose God exists. In the eyes of God, who is seeing from the above the earth, what are we? We are in motion. Because the earth is rotating. But we don't feel the rotation of the earth because of the huge mass of the earth. Earth is so big that we cannot feel its rotation. But however, we are actually in motion. So now you understood that why did I say that rest and motion both are relative terms and one cannot be explained without the help of other? Both are related. A particular body, it depends on the observer. It depends on the observer that how will you see the particular object, or how will he or she see the particular object. It depends on the observer. So rest and motion are relative terms. So I hope that these examples made clear that rest and motion are relative terms. Yes or no? And the entire idea of rest and motion. Now here I would like to say one thing. Before going into the further detail of the chapter, we have to be very clear with units and derived and fundamental physical quantities. Okay, and we also should be very careful with the what we can say units, derived and fundamental physical quantities, and also the scalar quantity and vector quantity, which had been explained in the previous video, right? An example of distance and displacement and speed and velocity was also given. So now today's work is very short. Today we will understand the system of units little bit. System of units. Now as you know that what happens in case of system of units is that, as you know, that there are fundamental units, fundamental physical quantity. Now consider three fundamental physical quantities: the length, the mass, and the time. Now these three will form system of units. I will tell you why. Yesterday in the last video, you had learned one simple little thing which I'll tell here. Let me take liberty of telling here that length, mass and time, length, mass and time are three fundamental quantities, and derived quantities are speed, area, volume, and many things, force, many things are there, many things. Okay, I will come to them one by one, but they have a formula. Density. I will work with speed, area, volume, density, and speed is equals to what? Distance by time. That means length by time. Area means length into length. Volume means length into length into length thrice. And density is, always remember, mass by volume. So mass is to mass, that is length into length into length. Okay, so and also and then there is a velocity also and acceleration also. Velocity with acceleration, okay, and also velocity, because in the previous video I taught you about velocity, right? So all this. Now these are fundamental quantities. Why? Because they exist independently on nature. And these all, speed, area, volume, velocity, acceleration, density, all these are derived quantities. Why? Because they are combination of fundamental quantities, right? Like velocity is displacement by time, means length by time. It's just like speed only. And acceleration is velocity by time. So look here. If you look into acceleration, it is a combination of velocity and time. Velocity itself is a derived quantity. Time is a fundamental quantity. Remember, length, mass and time are the three fundamental quantities here in question. Length, mass and time are the three fundamental quantities in question. That's all. Okay. And all the derived quantities, speed, area, volume, velocity, acceleration, density, all are what? All are derived quantities because they are combination of other physical quantities or fundamental quantities. Speed, they cannot exist independently. Speed, area, volume, velocity, acceleration, density, they cannot exist independently like length, mass and time. Length, mass and time exists independently. They don't require any dependence. Are you getting my point? So what is happening is, speed is equals to length by time, area is equals to length into length, volume is equals to length into length into length, velocity equals to length by time, acceleration is velocity by time, and density is mass by volume. So here you see speed is length by time, means speed is a combination of two fundamental quantities. Area is length into length. Always formula of area में आप लोग दो लेंथ को मल्टीप्लाई करते ही हो, हमेशा जितना भी चीज़ का एरिया निकाल लो आपको दो लेंथ मल्टीप्लाई करना ही होता है. आप ट्रायंगल का भी निकालोगे तो हाफ इंटू बेस इंटू हाइट करते हो, राइट और रॉन्ग? तो बेस इंटू हाइट, वो तो बेस और हाइट दोनों लेंथ ही हुआ ना, एक चीज़ का नाप ही तो हुआ, लेंथ मेजर हुआ मीटर या सेंटीमीटर में. तो वॉल्यूम का लेंथ इंटू लेंथ, वेलोसिटी का लेंथ बाई टाइम, Acceleration का velocity by time, this is a combination of one derived quantity, velocity itself is a derived quantity. So acceleration is a combination of one derived quantity and one what quantity? Fundamental quantity. And it is also a combination of one fundamental quantity and one derived quantity. But however, derived quantity can again be broken down into fundamental quantity. So all of them are actually combination of fundamental quantities in various ways. Are you getting my point? So if I fix the unit of these three, the unit of every other physical quantity will be fixed in nature. If I can fix the unit of these three, are you getting my point? There are three systems that we can use. The first system is known as FPS system, which is not used nowadays. FPS means लेंथ का मेजरमेंट हम लोग फुट में करेंगे, मास का मेजरमेंट हम लोग पाउंड में करेंगे और टाइम का मेजरमेंट हम लोग सेकेंड्स में करेंगे. अमेरिका में बहुत यूज़ होता है ये कॉमनली. देन देयर इज CGS यूनिट. लेंथ का मेजरमेंट हम लोग सेंटीमीटर में करेंगे, मास का मेजरमेंट हम लोग ग्राम में करेंगे और टाइम का मेजरमेंट हम लोग सेकेंड में करेंगे. Got my point? And then there is MKS unit. लेंथ का मेजरमेंट हम लोग मीटर्स में करेंगे, मास का मेजरमेंट हम लोग किलोग्राम में करेंगे और टाइम का मेजरमेंट हम लोग सेकंड में करेंगे. ये देखो, FPS फुट पाउंड सेकंड, CGS सेंटीमीटर ग्राम सेकंड, MKS मीटर किलोग्राम सेकंड. समझ में आया? तो मैं तुमको एक एग्जांपल देके दिखाता हूं. मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल दिखाता हूँ. जैसे कि सोचो मैं स्पीड के लिए करता हूँ. हाँ, अगर मैं स्पीड को इक्वल्स टू डिस्टेंस बाय टाइम लिखूँ तो स्पीड का यूनिट अकॉर्डिंग टू FPS सिस्टम होना चाहिए. डिस्टेंस मतलब लेंथ, इसको फुट में नापेंगे, फुट, और टाइम को सेकंड में. तो डिस्टेंस का यूनिट क्या बन गया? फुट पर सेकेंड, है ना. ये हो गया आपका कौन से सिस्टम में? ये हो गया आपका FPS सिस्टम में. द यूनिट ऑफ स्पीड इन FPS सिस्टम. नाउ लेट अस सी द यूनिट ऑफ स्पीड इन CGS सिस्टम. अगेन इट इज डिस्टेंस बाय टाइम. सो डिस्टेंस इज इन सेंटीमीटर, टाइम इज इन सेकेंड. सो द यूनिट इज इन centimeter per second. Wow. So this is in CGS unit, and another is in MKS unit or MKS system, where again speed will be equals to distance by time, and distance will be taken as meters and time will be taken as seconds. So it will be meter per second. So three different unit: foot per second, centimeter per second, meter per second. Remember, according to different systems, different units can be used. But we today generally use the MKS system. This is known as the international system. This is only mostly accepted all over the world. Got my point? So we will always use the MKS system of units. So using the MKS system of units and sometimes little bit of CGS system of units, you can find out units of any derived quantity. Suppose for example, if I use the MKS system to find out area, suppose MKS system for area. Area is length into length, right? So area is length into length, so that means it is meter into meter, so meter square. In case of CGS system, it will be centimeter square, and in case of FPS system, it should be foot square. Yes or no? Tell me. Understood? Huh? So if you have not understood, then you will ask me later. Okay. So according to using this system, so we can find out the unit of every physical quantity. So how about you pause this video and later on see for answers and find out the units in CGS, FPS and MKS system of the following physical quantities, whose formula will be given: volume, length into length into length, velocity, length by time, acceleration, velocity by time, density, mass by volume. So find out the units of density, acceleration, velocity and volume. Let's see. So basically I had asked you to find out the unit of this according to the three systems, and see, it is done here. In case of volume, whose formula is length into length into length, the FPS system is foot into foot into foot, because length is measured in foot in case of FPS system. Okay, so it is foot cube. In CGS system, FPS means foot pound. FPS, if I write it like this, length, mass and time. So foot is length, pound is mass, second is time. Centimeter is length, gram is mass, second is time. And in case of MKS system, in case of MKS system, meter is length, kilogram is mass and second is time. So anyway, in this case volume is length into length into length, so foot into foot into foot, because foot is length, so foot cube. In CGS system, centimeter into centimeter into centimeter, so centimeter, so centimeter cube. In case of MKS system, meter into meter into meter, so meter cube. Now in case of velocity, length by time, so in CGS system, CGS, centimeter by time, second, so centimeter per second. Okay, so in FPS system, foot per second it will be, because foot is length and second is time, because it is length by time. So length ka unit by time ka unit. In case of MKS system, length ka unit is meter, time ka unit is second, so meter per second. Okay, so in case of acceleration, velocity by time, it should be velocity ka unit is, in case of acceleration is density by time, velocity by time. Acceleration is velocity by time. So you see, as because acceleration is velocity by time, acceleration is equals to velocity by time. Now we know that the unit of, in case of FPS system, we know the unit of velocity is already foot per second by second. Okay, so here it is there. In case of velocity in FPS systems, it is already foot per second by second. So it will be foot by second into 1 by second, because the second by 1 will go and become inverse. So it is foot per second square. In case of CGS unit, it will be, acceleration will be centimeter per second by second. So it will be centimeter per second square. And in case of MKS unit, acceleration will be again meter per second by second, because velocity ka unit is meter per second by second, so it will be meter per second square. Why? Because meter per second means meter by second is equals to second by 1, so meter by second into 1 by second, so it will be meter per second square. So you have to understand this. I hope that you have understood. Okay, before going any further, we need to understand two more terms. What is the meaning of the term directly proportional, and what is the meaning of the term inversely proportional? These are the two things that we need to understand. What is the meaning of the term directly proportional, and what is the meaning of the term inversely proportional? Suppose there is A. Now A is a physical quantity, suppose. Okay, A is a what? Suppose A is a physical quantity, and they say A is directly proportional to B. So that means they write like this: A is directly proportional to B. What is the meaning of directly proportional? If A increases, then B will also increase. If A increases, B will also increase. If A decreases, B will also decrease. That is the meaning of directly proportional. And inversely proportional means if somebody says A is inverse, and B is also a physical quantity, remember that. A is inversely proportional to B. Now if anybody say A is inversely proportional to B, then we write it like this: A is proportional to 1 by B. इसका मतलब है if A increases, then B decreases. If A increases more, then B decreases more. If B increases, A decreases. Here it means if A increases, B also increases. And if A decreases, B decreases. And it means if A increases, B decreases, then B decreases. And if A decreases, then B increases. So that is the difference between directly proportional quantity and inversely proportional quantity, and how we write it. If I give you example, suppose for example A is a physical quantity, okay, whose value is 5. You will learn a lot of physics. Okay, suppose one I will tell you. Suppose for example, suppose there is a quantity force. You have learned about force in the last class. I told you what force is. And there is a quantity velocity. I told you what velocity is also. Velocity is how fast an object is moving in a particular direction. And force is also how much force you have applied to that particular body. Suppose a body is there. Okay, even applied a force. And due to applying a force, the body moves with a velocity v. And if they say that force F is directly proportional to V, okay, force F is directly proportional to V, that means if you increase the force, the velocity will even more increase. Right or wrong? If you increase the force, the velocity will even more increase. Understood now what is the meaning of directly proportional? In case of inversely proportional, suppose there is a quantity called density, and there is a quantity called volume. And remember, density of an object is inversely proportional to its volume. So that means if density increases, volume decreases. Suppose for example, density, I will give you an idea of density here so that you can understand. Suppose that this is the volume of an object, okay? And there are lots of particles inside. Are you getting my point? There are lots of particles inside. Now, if the particle number remains same, and if you increase the volume, then the particle will go apart from each other. यहाँ पे जितना पार्टिकल है, अगर यहीं पे उतना ही पार्टिकल होगा तो इतू सा वॉल्यूम में वो खिसक के रहेगा, एकदम पास रहेगा, लेकिन बड़ा वॉल्यूम मिलने से वो एकदम पूरा दूर हो जाएगा. गैस के लिए ही सोच लो, राइट और रॉन्ग? सो इस तरह देखो, ये डेंसिटी मतलब कितना पास वो है. डेंसिटी मतलब क्या? कितना पास है. तो यहाँ पे डेंसिटी हाई है, वॉल्यूम लो है. यहाँ पे डेंसिटी हाई है, वॉल्यूम लो है. यहाँ पे तुमने वॉल्यूम बढ़ा दिया तो डेंसिटी का क्या हुआ? घट गया. समझ में आया? तो ये क्या हुआ? इन्वर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल. सो डेंसिटी इज इन्वर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल टू वॉल्यूम. तो समझ में आया डेंसिटी और वॉल्यूम का करना में अगर आप वॉल्यूम को और घटा दोगे, सपोज इससे भी घटा दिया, तो वॉल्यूम ज़्यादा घटा दोगे तो डेंसिटी और भी ज़्यादा बढ़ जाएगी, क्योंकि वो पार्टिकल्स और ज़्यादा पास पास रहना स्टार्ट कर देंगे। ये सर नो? तो अब समझ में आया, वॉल्यूम को बढ़ाने से डेंसिटी घटता है, डेंसिटी को बढ़ाने से वॉल्यूम बढ़ता है। एक घटेगा तो दूसरा बढ़ेगा, दूसरा बढ़ेगा तो एक घटेगा। तो दैट इज नोन एज इनवर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल, डेंसिटी इज इनवर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल टू वॉल्यूम। आया बात समझ में? ऑलवेज रिमेंबर, always remember that, what to remember? Always remember that in case of proportional sign, suppose A proportional to B they have written, if you want to convert it into a equals to sign, then you have to put a constant. A is equals to KB. The quantity K is a constant. Constant means a value which does not change. Constant means what? A value which does not change. That is a constant. In case of A inversely proportional to B also, there can be constant. In that case, A will be equals to K by B, where K is a constant or the value which does not change. So I hope that you have understood that how you can change the proportionality into an equation or equals to sign. How you can change a proportionality into an equation or equals to sign by inserting a constant or by putting a constant. Did you understand this? Yes or no?